Hello and welcome to episode 91 of the DaebakCast. I wasn't here for episode 90, so that was where the confusion came from. Anyways, this is a weekly podcast where the three of us come together each week to talk about K-pop and whatever's current in the industry. Excuse my potato cam and probably worse mic quality, most likely. I'm at home for a break and I didn't want to lug all my equipment with me, so forgive me for that. Anyways, as always, I'm joined by Nate.
I've been walking with the cheese that's the queso. Thank you, SM and NCT, for that gem.
Oh, man.
It's bad.
Also, as always, I'm joined by Andrew, who usually has three things.
Number one, I just came back from New York Comic Con over the weekend, and I had, one night con plague, so I stayed home from work today. It was really fun. I didn't get to cosplay this year, but next year I'll probably try to think of something. And no, you guys should try to come down next year, because there's K-pop stuff, surprisingly. I didn't get to go, but Jeff Benjamin had a couple of K-pop panels, so that was pretty cool. I got to walk around. I spent way too much. Here's literally, this is all how much just anime and Blu-rays I bought just in one weekend. Basically, whenever I go to Comic-Con, usually the booths, they only expect people to buy one or two things, and then I come up and just I want this, and then they just have a shocked look on their face. It's just oh, is he joking? So I always end up being that guy. I got a lot of Sailor Moon stuff, definitely, always. I got a couple Blu-rays, I got a couple, I got issue of the manga. I got this thing, it lights up. It's a moon stick. This is probably the closest thing
now you can take that to a J-pop concert.
Yeah, no, I'm using this as my light stick for every concert from now on. This is amazing. And also, there's one other thing that I'll mention later, which will be a giveaway, so stay tuned for that. Number two is the postseason has come around in baseball, and for the first time since I was in middle school, in 2004, the Red Sox and the Yankees are playing each other in the postseason, and right now the series is tied 1-1, and right now the Red Sox are winning Game 3 10-0. So I'm very happy right now because I believe you. I'm not sure, Jacob, if you'd agree with this sentiment or not, but fuck the Yankees, correct? Yes, Jacob approves. So
yes.
Hopefully,
no, seriously, the Red Sox are my second favorite team, so definitely agree with that sentiment.
And I have to deal with Yankee fans all the time, so definitely fuck the Yankees. And number three, I just finished this amazing anime called Hibike Euphonium, and it's got me all types of messed up.
Sound Euphonium, is that what that is?
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
I remember that from a few years ago.
Oh, it's so good, and I really miss playing music now, just because it's about, the anime is basically just like K-On, except if you're familiar with K-On, but it has to do with concert band, and they play all these classical pieces and everything, and it really if you're like me and you grew up as a band kid or took any type of music class, you'll definitely appreciate it. So yeah, I really want to get back into music now, honestly.
But wait, that's not JoJo.
Hey, I'm getting there. I'm sorry.
Oh, I still have an alarm set on my phone for the day you said you'd start it.
Yeah. It's soon. TM. Just like you getting blown up back soon. TM.
Well, I do have it back. It's just it's been so long. Anyways, I'm Jacob. You already knew that. Hashtag no blown up, but only because I left it at school, so I don't have it here. Anyways. Without further ado, we can start with the topics. First topic is YG
Future Strategy Office.
Yeah, that show. It's on Netflix. I don't know what it's called. I just call it the YG show.
The YG show. So, I guess I'll take the lead
Andrew,
on this.
you can take the reins. Yeah, you suggested the topic, so go ahead.
So, this is probably the first, or just in general, Netflix has sort of made this commitment to incorporating more Korean variety and more Korean television content as exclusive programming, because they're really just trying to look for new reasons to subscribe to Netflix, because they're taking off movies like left and right, because Disney and all these other companies are just making their own Netflix subscription things, just kind of stupid. But yeah, the upside to that is that, again, we get a lot more Korean content. Like recently, Knowing Bros, I believe. Knowing Bros is now the exclusive or Netflix is the exclusive home to Knowing Bros now.
Well, it's not exclusive there.
Well, I mean exclusive in to the
English subs.
English subs. Yeah. Yeah, obviously it's still available in Korea, but yeah, they're definitely, they see that market. So that being said, we get this amazing show called YG Future Strategy Office, which is a collaboration between Netflix and YG Entertainment, and it stars arguably like the hottest member of Big Bang all year, because the rest of them are in the army, so they can't release any music. Seungri, as basically it's basically like The Office, but with like a K-pop twist on it. So they're playing like the intro of the show was amazing. It's just like, it's like this disclaimer saying like everyone's playing an exaggerated version of themselves except for YG. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So everyone, there's a lot of cameos and a lot of like artist features and celebrities on there. So like the whole like plot of the show is like basically they're just like the throwaways. It's like basically like punishment for Seungri, and they get into like all these like office antics and everything, and it's done in mockumentary style, much like The Office. The genius behind this, the show, is Park Jun-soo, who produced another mockumentary called The God of Music, which I never actually got around to watching, but I've heard a lot of good things about it, so I'm definitely gonna look into it after watching this. And it was written by Kim In-suk, who is a former writer for SNL in Korea. So there's a lot of talent involved with this. So yeah, I told you guys to watch just a few of the episodes, so I just wanted your thoughts on just like the whole concept in general. Like, we don't have to go into spoilers and everything because it just recently came out, so just speak at it like in vague terms, roughly.
Should I go first?
Yeah,
you can go first.
All right. So for me, like in the beginning, I wasn't really expecting much because of, you know, our open thoughts about YG and like how they're being run and stuff like that. But this show honestly has blown me away. I think it's hilarious. I think it's a great idea. All the jokes are like super self-aware and like self-deprecating on YG, which I think is really funny. So it kind of addresses a lot of the fans like qualms with the company like quite often, or like controversies that surround the company and people in it and stuff like that. And it's a lot of like self-deprecating humor, and it's a lot of fun, especially on Seungri's part.
Yeah, I'd say like Seungri is easily the driving force behind this, and I applaud his willingness to put himself through all of this. Yeah, because it's a very like, this show pulls no punches basically when it comes to the type of humor that they do. And yeah, because again, we're just so used to the concept of like basically like K-pop idols have to be perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. They have no scandals and everything. And basically like they just throw all of that out the window with this. Like Seungri's doing like really embarrassing and funny stuff, and it works. And that's probably the comedy in it. It's just because you wouldn't expect all these like K-pop idols who are supposed to be like the image of perfection to do all this comedic type of stuff. Nate, I know you only had a chance to watch the first episode, so what were your thoughts?
Yeah, so this is like Andrew said, this is based on my first episode. So I didn't like it as much as you guys. I like it, and I'll probably watch more of it. But yeah, I was talking to Victoria about it a little bit, and she was saying that like it's weird because it seems like it's too try hard at times, but it's still making us like I'm still laughing at it. And I agree with that pretty much exactly. Like, there are a lot of funny jokes, but yeah, it just seems like it's trying too hard to be like self-aware and raunchy, and to like the detriment of some of the jokes, in my opinion.
Yeah, I understand that. But
yeah, I do like that it's I do like all the inside jokes and that it's self-aware and making fun of how everyone's frustrated with YG. The other thing that is kind of I had an issue with that, like, it's kind of weird because it doesn't affect me at all, but it's going to affect most people, is like some of the jokes are really, really inside baseball. Like like you need to be really hardcore into the K-pop industry to understand. Like I'd probably say like 25% of the jokes. Like they just casually name dropped like Lee Sung-min once, and like if you don't know anything about Lee Sung-min and like his situation and what happened, like which was like 20 years ago, like you don't understand that joke at all. And so, like, that was another thing that, like, for me is not a problem because I understand probably the majority of them. But, yeah, even there were a couple of things in there that I didn't understand. Which, I mean, I guess is probably more reasonable for Koreans to understand as opposed to international fans.
Yeah, because they've been more exposed to the history of that.
Yeah, and, like, the celebrity scandals and stuff that we wouldn't, from a long time ago, that we wouldn't know. But, yeah, overall... Oh, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I actually really like that aspect of the show, just for me, because I guess as somebody who's been into K-pop and you know, Korean culture and stuff like that for so long, I think it's kind of nice having like, I don't know, I know it's more meant for Koreans, those kind of jokes, but it's like almost like they're like acknowledging me, whereas they're usually acknowledging more the new fans, trying to bring them in. So I kind of thought that was really good.
And the whole point of them putting this on Netflix and having them like partnering with Netflix to get this show subbed and everything in a bunch of countries is because they are acknowledging that, hey, K-pop isn't just a Korean thing anymore. We have a huge fan base, and there's all these people that know the intricacies and the history of YG and K-pop. So I feel like in that sort of way, it's just really rewarding if you're like us and you've followed all of this, all of these artists and know most of the inside jokes and everything. So yeah, it's just kind of like how, again, much like how it's a winning formula, because I mean, if there wasn't any if Marvel didn't see any success out of like adding in all these Easter eggs and references to other, like, oh, they're teasing something for the future, or like, oh, it's like, oh, that's how gonna connect, it's all connected, like that was the famous like mantra and everything, like there's some sort of like, maybe it's part of like sunken cost fallacy or something, where basically like, oh, they want to reward people that have sort of invested this amount of time into K-pop and Korean culture and like know all of these sort of tiny details. And ultimately, yeah, it probably isn't made for, this show probably isn't for someone that either isn't into K-pop or only has maybe like a surface level. And I mean, maybe like I guess that's sort of the benefit to having just sort of the slapstick overacting nature, is that it's sort of, it's a style of comedy that doesn't necessarily need too much nuance or knowledge or like thought put into it, or like prior knowledge.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the thing that like bothered me, was because it did keep going back and forth between those two things. Like, yeah, it was either like the joke was just completely dumb and slapstick and like you didn't need to know anything to think it's funny, or it was like super hardcore inside baseball, you need to know 20 years of K-pop history to understand. It's just like these mixed together, like it just didn't feel like it fit for me with going back and forth between those jokes. Well, I mean, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get it. It's just, and honestly, that's sort of like, I haven't watched The Office. Like, that's a huge confession. Like, because I know everyone's just like, oh my god, The Office is like the greatest like sitcom ever invented and everything. And I just never got around to watching it myself. And so like part of it, the reason why, I don't know, it's just been so daunting was, one, there's a lot of episodes, and two, it's just, yeah, there's some part of like that style of comedy that's just like super cringe inducing, and you're just like, oh, I can't watch this. In the it's just, that style of comedy isn't for everyone, just because you basically have to endure through it to sort of like, until you sort of like become numb to that aspect of it to start enjoying it. So yeah, definitely that isn't for everyone, and yeah, that's why this maybe if it wasn't for the K-pop aspects, it'd be, again, much like The Office, it definitely like take some work for me to sort of enjoy. But yeah, again, if the K-pop aspect of it, I definitely sort of reinforced my enjoyment of it. If anything, probably again, something like this probably wouldn't have existed if we didn't have like the backing, or if it wasn't centered around something like YG or whatever. Because and also just of all they're probably right then, like YG is probably the only like major company that could probably get away with this, because I could never see SM or even JYP doing something like this where they poke so much fun at themselves, or they're just this self-aware about all the scandals, or acknowledging scandals, because usually if not anything, like they enjoy, like, or they actively like try to sweep any like hint of scandal under the rug, as opposed to like making a comedic light of it.
I think oh, go ahead.
Oh, for me, I was going to say, I think that's the reason why it works so well, is because there's so much, I guess, fuel that you can add to the fire, is that, you know, like, they're, like, pointing out every single thing that we've been, like, almost every single thing besides the not releasing much music. Actually, they even kind of touch on that, even, in the last episode I watched. Like, they pretty much, like, point out pretty much every, like, problem we have with how the company is run, and they're, like, sort of being like, yeah, we get it, but, like, you know, like, for the not releasing music part, like, there is this I think it was the 4th episode, it was called, like, Plan B, and Seungri was like, why do we keep making the artists do things other than music? Artists should be focusing on music. And he keeps like he's trying to, like, reinvigorate Park Bom's career, and, like, make Icon, like, challenge people to, like, talent competitions, and, like, it's just, he's just making him do, like, crazy stuff, because he's like, artists should be focusing on music. And then there's, like, Jinu from Jinu Sean is in, like, a golf promotion with Son Na's sister, who's a golfer. And, like,
I didn't know that, actually. I didn't know that. That's really actually pretty cool.
I knew Na's sister was a golfer, yeah.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that she was related at first, but Nate, go ahead.
Yeah, with everything I said, though, like, I still do think it's funny. I'm still gonna watch more of it, and I did like Seungri a lot. Like, I think he's a good lead for this. I think he's definitely the perfect fit. As for other companies doing this, yeah, I agree. The only way I could see this happening somewhere else is JYP, if JYP himself was doing it. Like, if it was his show, and he was, like, the main character and just making fun of everything that happened at his own company, I could see him doing that. But I couldn't see, like, someone else, like, someone... I don't know, maybe I could see 2PM doing something like this too.
Maybe. Just because...
But I think another thing I was going to say is I think Seungri is perfect to be the main character of this.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Like, it's already been, like, a huge thing that like, they're sort of, like, grooming Seungri to take over YG someday. And he's, like, characterized in the show as wanting to, like, kiss up to Young In Suk, and, like, he's like, one day I'll be the one who's leading this company, and, like, you know, stuff like that. So.
And again, it's just his willingness to make fun of himself and put himself in, like, compromising situations that no other artist would ever think of putting themselves in. Like, this isn't really spoilers, because it's literally, like, revealed in, like, the first, like, 5 minutes of the first episode. But the entire concept of the show is that he gets assigned to the future strategy office as punishment because one of his friends was taking a video of him falling asleep, and he just sort of has a complex of anyone, like, taking pictures of him while he's sleeping because of his sex scandal, which they make huge light of. I never thought they would do that, because that was such a black mark on Big Bang for such a long time. Like, that was, like, the biggest controversy and everything. So again, his willingness to just laugh at himself is really huge. And yeah, he's a great actor. Surprisingly, he definitely carried the entire show, and I'm just really surprised that. Basically, like, Seungri is, like, starting to, like I've been a Taeyong bias since day one, but man, Seungri is just starting to, like, ruin that completely, just because he's super, like, we enjoyed his album. Again, we gave, that was a unanimous 10 out of 10 for all of us, correct? Yeah, so
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he's just been doing amazing stuff, and yeah, I'm just, and in a way, it's a blessing in disguise, because I feel like Seungri never really got a chance to shine, because he like, pretty much, like, the two people that would shine in Big Bang were, like, Taeyong, GD, and then sometimes Top. But I'm glad that I'm glad that since everyone's away in the military, he's finally getting his chance to shine, and he totally deserves it. He's always been a super creative and super talented idol, and this just makes me appreciate him even more, just seeing all of this, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, like, I hope quite a lot of people watch this so that it gets renewed for, like, a season 2 or something. and we get it like I don't know, like once every couple of years or once a year or something like that.
I wish it was once a year, but and I want to see more cameos, and I want to see more people from because there are people from outside YG that make cameo appearances. Basically, I think this show is just like Sungri is just like, who am I friends with, and let's just make a show with all that, and that's pretty cool. It's just like because like they're able to sort of be in on all of the jokes and everything. So yeah, it's just a really cool project that I never thought I'd see, honestly. And also just like the style of filmmaking that they were doing is that if you'd see like there's some clips at the end where they just sort of break character, or they'd be like, oh, we're still acting, and like it's an interesting sort of thing, or they'd surprise them with some sort of things where they basically like to get like the most authentic reaction. So it's a really like interesting sort of filmmaking approach that they took to it and everything.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, is that a lot of it seemed very unscripted. Like, I guess I'll just spoil one moment. Is like I was talking earlier about like how I was getting Icon to go out and like challenge people. Like the first person they go to challenge is Sunmi, and they're like, wait, they show up at JYP's building, and they're like, wait, Sunmi isn't at JYP anymore, or what? And then Icon is like in the back, and like, we could have told you that. And then they go to find Sunmi, and like when I feel like Sunmi was not given a script at all, because she was just laughing at them the entire time.
Yeah, she could barely keep her laugh. Like she was gonna break. In the wrestling business, they call that corpsing. Like she was so close to laughing every single time, just because. Yeah, that's like generally like you have to give credit to everyone on here just for their like their delivery on it. It worked so well. So
yep.
Oh, I guess just final thoughts on it before we, because I really don't want to spoil too much, because it's worth watching if you don't know anything going in, like not even like watching any of the trailers. Just like it's such a good experience going in blind.
Yeah, I talked about a few moments, but like that's nothing compared to like everything that happens. So
there's
just
so much.
definitely watch the show. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Definitely give it a shot.
So I mean, yeah, we don't give scores or anything officially or whatever, but it definitely gets all of our recommendations, and so which is surprising because again, we hate YG. We basically hate YG, but this might be like the favorite.
Yeah, but I like Sungri a lot.
So. Yeah, we love Sungri.
Yeah. Balances out.
Yeah,
I like YG artists and stuff. Like just the company. It's you know.
Yeah.
Also, I just love that it self-deprecates the company. So like, even haters would like this show. I feel like so.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. You don't need to love YG necessarily to enjoy this. So yeah, YG Future Strategy Office is on Netflix, at least here in America. I'm sure it's Netflix in other countries as well. So yeah, definitely go check it out. Let us know what you think in the comments.
Yep. Then she did some solo stuff, a lot of CFs. But then she decided, I guess she decided she didn't like the way JYP was going in terms of, like, if she was going to make the new girl group, or if she was going to have to, maybe she had a problem that she didn't want to compete in 16-2, and they were going to make her do that.